Hello, welcome to News Across Nigeria, where we tell you what's happening currently across the 36 states of the Nigerian Federation. I'm Olumide Macaulay. On today's program, the United Nations Population Fund and Kaduna State Government launch Adolescent Girls Initiative to boost girl-child education and protect their rights. The Cross River State Government partners with German authorities to improve the lot of displaced Bakassi people, starting with decent accommodation. And police in Osun State tried 29 officers for professional misconduct and other offences. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin in the North Central, the Federal Capital Territory, where the former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has held a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa. General Abubakar arrived there at about 12:33 p.m., went straight into the president's office for the meeting that lasted for about an hour. The former head of state told State House correspondents that he was there to discuss issues of national interest and international affairs. When asked about his comments on the issues in the Niger Delta and the fight against terrorism, the former military leader said he had not come to talk to the press and that the government in power is doing its best to handle the situation. It will be recalled that the former military leader midwifed the peace talks that led to the peaceful handover from the Jonathan administration to Muhammadu Buhari. Meanwhile, the federal government appears bent on exploring every available means to track funds illegally taken out of the country. To this end, President Muhammadu Buhari is seeking the cooperation of African central banks in the repatriation of such funds. This came to the fore as the president declared the meeting of the Association of Central Bank Governors in Abuja open. There, he called for the removal of all bureaucratic hurdles to tackle illicit cash outflow. He also notes that the dwindling prices of oil in the international community is an opportunity for African leaders to come up with policies that will enhance monetary and financial stability.
We must intensify our surveillance and give guidance to the operations of our financial institutions to reverse the trend of illicit flows of funds out of Africa. We should all be serious in putting place measures aimed at ensuring that the proceeds of these illicit flows are repatriated to their countries of origin with minimal bureaucratic hitches.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, the United Nations Population Fund is calling for the implementation of existing laws that will protect the rights of the girl child. The country representative of the UNPF, Mrs. Retiza Ndlovu, gave this advice in North Central Nigeria during the launch of the Adolescent Girls Initiative in collaboration with the Kaduna State Government. Now, she insists that providing women and girls with equal access to education is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a prosperous and sustainable nation. From there, we'll move on to the southern part of the country, where soccer and relief may become in the way of the displaced Bakassi residents as Governor Ben Ajade makes good his promise to rehabilitate them. The Cross River State Governor wants to ensure they have better living conditions. For over 3 years, over 3,000 displaced persons have been living at the St. Mark's Primary and Secondary School in Akpabuyo local government area under inhumane conditions.
Despair, grief-stricken. These are few words that could describe the state of these residents in Bakassi. For over 3 years, this place has served as a temporary shelter for these Nigerians with a roof that barely shields them from the rain. A cursory look around evokes a lot of emotions. Even the governor and his visitors could not hold back tears. But now it appears there is hope in the horizon as Governor Ayade, alongside the mayor of Dortmund, Germany, look at the camp to see how they can pitch in. Then the promises came in torrent, and anytime soon, a collaboration with the German investors will ensure a proper housing facility for the residents.
As a quick start to put an end to the hardship, one of the key issues that was raised, the issue of feeding, where young men and women die of hunger. We shall, as government, now provide a steady responsibility, steady income to ensure that every one of you feed. That means government will now supply food and take full responsibility for the feeding in this camp.
Through an interpreter, the mayor talks about plans for the project.
The kind of pain I have seen here, the kind of situation I have seen here does not equal to what we have in Germany. In Germany, we are doing the refugee work, and what we have seen here has weakened our heart.
Sad faces give way to excitement.
This is the first time that governor visits this displacement camp. So much thank him on what he's promised us.
Very happy to see these days being like this for us widows, and I appreciate what he's saying.
The people anxiously wait for a roof over their heads, a place they can once again call home.
Let's bring you news from the northwestern part of the country, where the United Nations Population Fund is calling for the implementation of existing laws that will protect the rights of the girl child. The country representative of the UNPFA, the United Nations Population Fund, gave this advice in north-central Nigeria during the launch of the Adolescent Girls Initiative in collaboration with the Kaduna State government in the northwest. Now, she insists that providing women and girls with equal access to education is not only a fundamental human right, but also a necessary foundation for a prosperous and sustainable nation.
Many young girls, particularly in northern Nigeria, are not in school. Some are seen during school hours, hawking their wares. Others are married off at a tender age. According to a report released by the UNFPA, the rate of illiteracy in Sokoto, Kebbi and Kaduna states at the moment is 78.5%, 75% and 40.3% respectively. Experts attribute poor enrollment of girls in school to cultural and religious factors. Perhaps to begin a turnaround, wives of some northern governors, commissioners for education and health, and development partners are in Kaduna State to launch the Adolescent Girl Initiative as a commitment to give the girl child a voice and a better future. The UNFPA representative and the wife of the Kaduna State governor described education of the girl child as an investment in the country's development.
1 in 9 Nigerians is a young teenage girl. It is unfortunate that teenage girls are less likely to complete their primary and secondary education than their boy counterparts.
And education helps her to make more informed choices about the kind of life she wishes to lead and the kind of instruction or example that she ultimately passes on to her own children.
Experts say early child marriage has negative implications for not just the girl child's education, but her health, owing to the fact that her body is usually not developed enough to carry a pregnancy. As a result, the federal government is resolved to give her a chance to fight for her well-being.
The Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, along with relevant stakeholders, is planning to convene very soon the national launch of campaign to end child marriage in Nigeria.
Beyond the fact that the initiative is being formally launched in his state, Governor Nasser El-Rufai highlights programs that are already in place to reduce the gap in education between the boy and girl child.
The free 9-year education policy, which covers tuition and all associated costs from primary 1 to JSS 3.
The Adolescent Girls Initiative, piloted by the UNFPA in 2013 in Kaduna and Kebbi states, is aimed at supporting marginalized girls to achieve qualitative basic education, which will make her better positioned to contribute to Nigeria's development.